And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Terra Invicta as Humanity First. We got aliens coming to us, we're going to the aliens, all things are happening. Let's see if some of those things actually happen. Confirm some assignments, let some time pass.
I think we had a breakthrough.
Keep doing that Inspire
Offering
mission.
counsel.
Offering counsel.
Anyway, we're doing what we can to stabilize our nations. So it's trying to prevent slash reduce the global climate change malices.
The people will come to our side.
Public sentiment is increasingly with us.
A little bit more there in Pakistan. Anyway, Gilvite's going to expand east into those guys. As long as these two are controlled by the resistance, we'll let them have those controls. It's the exotic spike radiator. So those will do the exotic heat sink as well.
The LZ is secure.
I suppose one thing I could look at and see how much of a noble savings swapping to the exotic radiator would be on the mass and the noble cost. What's preventing us really from mass building ships right now is the nobles. So if we get more nobles, we can get more ships. Improve the power plant as well should save us quite a few. Okay, we're going to take that point back in Singapore, but that's easy enough to do. You have arrived. I don't actually have a fleet to... Well, or do I? Could respond with these guys. Sure. If they don't immediately book out to a different orbit, these guys should catch them. Although 15 missile frigates versus 34 is probably a bad time. Yeah, I just got my fleet destroyed. Bit of a shame. Olympus Station. I don't think Olympus Station is the shipyard. I think that's just a random... Yeah. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna wreck Earth orbit, which is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Okay, we dropped from negative 2.2 to negative 1.6 with removing the hostile claims, so that's good. Okay, so here we're going to do upgrade the core, upgrade the power plant, upgrade the LDA, upgrade the Summit Mine Complex itself. Build a farm. I'm not sure how much nobles this can provide, so I'm not sure if the admin tower... Well, admin tower probably isn't worth it. The admin complex, the upgrade to it might be. And the empty spaces are probably going to just become quarters. We've got the power. Or the money/influence.
What's the op?
Okay, let's assign you to stabilizing in the Caliphate. The unrest is getting
We'll
a little
turn
high.
down the heat.
And then
Standing
the
by for
Purge
orders.
team...
I'm here.
Really only need to send one of them to Purge
Where to?
Singapore back. Yeah, only one of them needs to go.
Targeting the
Keep
opposition.
public campaigning. We'll give you a little bit of influence just to make sure that it's a success.
Terminating the
Did you
opposition.
defend mission? Yeah, getting real close to being at the funding max in the EU again.
I believe they'll stay loyal to the cause.
Offering assistance.
I will help them.
Upgrade the core, the fusion array, the LDA, the settlement mine complex, add a farm, fill the voids up with quarters. New assault ship launching towards Earth. Assuming we were able to stop the previous one, we'll have a fleet to stop this one, so I'm not too worried about it. And they've already touched down, so I'm not worried about them landing. The worst case scenario, we can use some of that stockpiled nuclear arsenal. I'm always going to look to see what the noble savings would be. So, the Demogorgon Block 4 is roughly our endgame ship here. If we were to swap over to the Exotic Spike Radiator, we drop from 1.2 nobles. Oh, it actually costs more nobles. Well, that's not what we want. The whole point to move to that would be to get away from nobles. Yeah, and I really don't need the mass savings. Yeah, it's what, it's a whole 8 Delta V? Cost too many nobles. We got enough engine power. I need to save nobles, which is, again, that's the value of the inertial confinement here, is it's going to drop the radiator cost by a factor of 10.
Things are cooling off.
We are winning their hearts and minds.
They've arrived. Interesting. Are you going to arrive? Or the aliens jump you? That's another question. Aliens coming to Rockstride 800, okay. We engage. Don't think this is going to be good auto-resolve, especially because it's 10v91. Yeah, auto-resolve says we super lose. So we're rejecting that. We're going to try to fight this manually. We are running lasers, so we'll just approach slowly. I see no reason to approach faster than we need to. We've got effectively a firepower range advantage. Initially, let's have them target a small ship at the front of the formation with a locked nose order. We're actually going to probably prioritize targeting flankers as they deploy into the flank, so we can hit their side armor. Of course, that means the enemy has to first make that decision of who's going to flank. $1,300? The aliens probably make the decision around about 1,100. $1,200. Oh, they made it earlier than I was expecting. Again, the aliens usually make the decision when they hit weapons range, so apparently they got some missiles off early here. That's why the decision was made earlier than I was expecting. Yeah, it still looks like the one we're targeting is the first one we're going to hit range on. Across the range, lasers opening up. Ship destroyed, redirecting fire. I'll agree with the ships. They're going for that one. Take that one out. That one's gone. Yep, that one looks fine. Apparently it's in range. Open fire. It's also a nice big ship. Gets this big score return if we get rid of it. And we're already doing better than the auto-resolve. Which isn't surprising these days. Gotta get the nose turned to bring it to bear on the ships we're destroying. Scratch another alien ship. One last flanker. Is a battleship, so it'll be pretty rewarding to get rid of it. Then we'll focus on the front, on the main line coming in. And one of the ships got pretty heavily damaged. I think that's from inbound plasma, actually. Oh, we've already lost a ship. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Okay, that battleship's not really taking enough damage. I think we need to turn and focus on the incoming wave. At least get the frontal armor facing it. Ship's destroyed. Or another small one. That one's dead in the void. Target different ship. Another ship destroyed. We have a slightly bigger one. I'm down to 8 ships. Bit of a shame, especially because of how expensive these ships are. And again, it's the kinetics that are going to actually apparently be the issue. There goes another one. Apparently I did not put enough point defense on these guys. What is that? What's coming in off of that, rushing? Is that a particle cannon? Yeah, those are particle cannons. The struggle with adamantines, they don't handle particle cannons very well. No, I think we should try a restart of this. It definitely screwed something up. Let's see if we can load the autosave. honestly, in a 10v90, I'm not too worried about losing. It's especially because we're on the attack, but would like a little bit better exchange than what we were getting there. Okay. We engage. We're just gonna hit start battle instead of auto resolve because we know auto resolve says we lose. We're gonna go in high wall again. It was already about as tight as we can be. Okay. Again, minimize the rate which we're approaching. They're in a different formation this time. They'll probably have different flankers going on. Let's take a moment to actually look at the ships. So the Immaculate here is running particles. Yeah, it's probably the particles getting us. It's probably that spinal particle cannon. Again, we're still running all adamantine. Adamantine does not like particle weapons. Lots of particle weapons. Lots of particle weapons. Lots of particle weapons. These are light, so they're pretty short range. So it's not the end of the world if we can get rid of them. Okay, that one we can probably ignore because it's just a battery. That's particle defense battery. Yeah, it's a particle cannon, so we probably want to get rid of you. And then from down here, there'd be smaller ships, so they'd be less likely to be carrying particles. Yeah, okay, so let's, what is the Infernals carry the plasma weapons? Yeah. Let's try to task one of these to each of the particle weapons. That'll lower our direct firing capacity, but focus firing capacity, but I think that will work out in the short run. So we want to disable that weapon. That one. And that one. All the Fury type classes have particle weapons. And it's just a defense. Ignore the sacraments. Eternal Peace has a alien particle cannon. So just those 5? Yeah, just those 5. Okay. Get one ship focusing all of those. That means when we close to plasma battery range, the plasma batteries open up and try to bring the weapons offline. It's a little bit hard to tell the particle weapons and the lasers apart when they're shooting at you. And we're basically, with our armor scheme, immune to the lasers, but not to the particles. Very, very squishy in comparison to the particles. So we need to bring those ships offline. Or they start deleting ships. Yeah, the most dangerous components on those particle weapon ships is going to be the particle cannon, which is up front. So if we can get through the frontal armor, then the weapons come offline pretty quickly. And we're waiting for the enemy to get closer. We'll speed it up a little bit. We realized last time they fired off around a little over 200,000, a little under 2,000. There you go. When I miss, I'll start firing. Okay, we have a Eternal Piece going down. The rest of the flankers are going up. Okay, let's try to get rid of the one going down first, and then we can redirect to the up. Okay, not too worried about the missiles. We got enough point defense, so that shouldn't be a problem. Nope, lost the frontal again on one of them already. Not great. Okay, we've disabled either the bridge or the drive on that one. Okay, looks like the lasers will destroy it. I think that was one of the ones we had. Yeah, we had a ship targeting that one, so we can grab that one to bring to bear on primary targeting. Let's start rotating up. We'll target that one even though we want to keep rolling up to face these guys. Okay, that one's dead in the void, swapped to a different target. Won't be coming back around, no engines. Where's the one we're targeting? Targeting a Fury class. That has particle cannons, that needs to die. Okay, knowingly it's out of range. Hopefully it's going to take a while to turn around. Other particle weapons. Immaculate Hope. Turn around, everyone mass fire at the Immaculate Hope that is not already assigned to target someone. Again, I believe these are all the particle weapons. They're all the damaged ones. Your source of particles, your source of particles, your source of particles, your source of particles. So the hope is that we've downed the particle weapons, so our armor can do its work, armor point defense can do its work. Haven't lost any ships yet, which is maybe a good sign, although those particles are getting uncomfortably close. That particle weapon ship is supposedly dead in the void, either meaning it's lost engines or it's lost the bridge. If it's lost bridge, it won't be able to return fire. Let's move on to a different one. Let's go down the line. Hit the next one on the line. And there's still one ship that's focused on it. We'll see if it takes it out in the meantime. Oh, you're already dead in the void, probably due to the ship focusing on you. Next one's dead in the void. There's oh, the right that's that one. Okay, so that one hasn't turned around yet. Okay, next thing, start targeting battleships. Try to bring, or start targeting kinetic launchers. Try to bring kinetic launchers offline. You've only got one. It's only light. Move on to next. That means you're only gonna have one. So move on to the next mission. As an advanced and a plasma battery, you know, we'll take the mission offline next. Looks like mission's dead in the void. Okay, so it's just a bunch of little launchers at this point. I think it's a bunch of little launchers at this point. Yeah. Okay, then we need to start just downing them as quickly as possible. Incoming fire. Scratch alien ship, scratch alien ship. Scratch an alien ship. Scratch another alien ship. I would not be surprised if we're going to have reinforcements start to come in soon. We'll have to evaluate the reinforcements when they come in. Okay, the one we're shooting at is dead in the void. Target different ship. Get the Corruptor involved in the fire missions. Significant reduced level of enemy weapons coming in. That's good to see. We may survive the first enemy wave. Okay, another one dead in the void. Targeting the battleships that have weapons left. There's the enemy reinforcements. We've got one group coming out, or three of them coming out flanking. We'll probably swing at the flankers first. Okay, of the first wave, only one's weapons capable. Take it out first. Have the Ravager join the focus fire. Okay, looks like the group that is already here is weapons dead. You haven't crossed 1,000 yet. You haven't crossed 1,000 yet. Okay, the flankers haven't crossed 1,000 yet. I think I still want to target them to get the nose point in the right way. Okay, already systems disabled. One of the flankers coming in, redirect to the one that's still flying straight. Okay, civil systems that. Next one. That one's just dead. That works. Okay, so let's evaluate what's coming in. New moon has an alien particle. That's a reasonable target to prioritize. Alien mag. Alien mag. What are the dwarfs running with? Alien mag. Okay. So as soon as it crosses the line, everything's going to focus fire at the moon. Yeah, as soon as it crosses the line, everything focuses fire at the moon. Once the moon's down, we work from smallest to biggest. Here comes the enemy's missiles. Hopefully we've got enough PD intact. So the alien particle weapons is the argument for jumping to exotic armor. Exotic armor is so much better with particle weapons. Then we'll go through exotics like no tomorrow. Archon, let's redirect you to actually finish those guys off. It is only a normal particle cannon, so our ultraviolet phaser cannons will outrange them. So if we do enough damage to the new moon before it gets to particle weapon range, we should be good. More alien reinforcements. Not surprising. Okay, lasers, not a concern. And mag, not a concern. It looks like a bunch of moons and smaller, which are not going to have concerning particles if they are involved. Can I change? Yeah, let's change the one that's actually looking, so I don't have to see all the red on the damage systems. Okay, so the goal right now is to get rid of the moon class. Or at least bring it weapons cold. Must be reasonably heavily armored. Yeah, 63 front. For it to be surviving this level of beating from the front. It is actually opening fire with this particle, so we want to get rid of it pretty quickly. Here we go, I think it's dead. It is at least weapons dead. Let's redirect to a different one. They haven't crossed the 1,000-kilometer range yet, so we're going to work up from small to big. It's dead in the void. What about coming in? Not at the 1,000-kilometer range, although they won't be for they won't be short of it very long. You know what? Stay focused on the flankers. but we don't want them to get us around to our side and rear if we can't help it. Okay, that one's dead in the void. Swap different target. That's the next smallest one. Target that one. Okay, scratch another ship. Next target. That one's dead in the void. Next target. That one's dead in the void. Next target. That one's dead. Dead in the void. One last ship in the incoming wave that is not dead in the void. Next wave is still 200 kilometers out, so I'll probably finish cleaning this wave up before we move on to the next. Next wave of enemy reinforcements coming in. Again, the moons are all missiles and lasers. So assuming we have enough point defense intact, we shouldn't have a problem. All mag. If we got the nose pointed the right way, we should not be caring about that lasers. So let's try to get rid of the cruiser. The highest concentration of mag on the enemy in the incoming wave. Next wave's coming in. Fading Star again is lasers. Diamond Star is the existing one. And the smaller ones are going to have. We'll let the flankers and the flankers get close enough. Well, they should be small enough. I'm not too concerned about them. Yeah, much better than the first attempt. Obviously, focusing the particle weapons was the way to go with some ships to try to get those weapons offline before they become a problem. That worked out. They did still do pretty heavy damage to 2 of the ships. It's almost certainly the particle weapons that did that. Do I have focus target? I should be the cruiser, I think. It is pretty heavily armored. 55 frontal. Plasma's starting to open up. Okay, let's try to hit the flankers next. They're a little closer than they appear because they're between us and the camera. Or between the fleet and the camera. Oh, lost a ship. At least that was one of the heavily damaged ones. I think that was one of the heavy damaged ones to the flankers. I think I got around and put enough shots on the side. Unless one of these flankers is running, running what the dreaded particles. So class monitors. Yeah, it's just a bunch of laser batteries mostly hammering us on the side. Well, that's a pretty big one. Let's try to bring you offline if we can. Get the focused fire. That's the biggest gun in the flanking batch. You're making me kind of expose the armor to these guys, although other than the plasma coming in, we're not too worried, apparently. We're concerned about that batch is why we need the flankers dealt with quicker, especially that battlecruiser. The battlecruiser is the same sort of threat coming from the front, right? So it's which side do we want the butt shots coming from? It feels like they're just going to keep circling us at too long of a range. Let's get around and actually clear out this wave. Right on top of us with the lasers, once we start to bring them there, should be quite effective. At least at bringing the enemy's weapons cold. Swing the nose around to deal with you. Because those two are weapons cold. And these guys are actually look like they're going to swing in front of us before these guys hit the front, so that works out. It's dead in the void. Swap to the next target. To be fair, if we win the fight, we can always go hunt down the Dead in the Void ships with the functional ships. That one's dead in the void. Next target. Although, again, dead in the void is anything that basically renders them no engines, no command bridge, no fuel. So potentially with that sort of shot, I might have just taken one to their fuel out. This was a 10v91 fight, so it's a big, long fight. Definitely not a good result for the aliens. This might be enough that we actually establish the toehold in Jupiter. Okay, another alien wave coming in. Those iron meteors running with? Oh, the alien meteors have armor weapons. Okay, I need to bring them offline quicker. Because with particle weapon range, that's where the damage, where the notable damage is coming from at this point. Thought it was the big laser off the battleship. But no, it's the particles. Okay, becoming more and more effective. Okay, one's destroyed. Try to get rid of the... well, disable the battlecruiser a little bit more, and then we'll probably redirect to the flankers after that. Should be in the sweet spot at that point. I think that was one of my ships that just went down to 8 out of the original 10. Although from an exchange standpoint, we're definitely punching up at this point successfully. This is more acceptable than the first attempt at this battle. Okay, is that cruiser gonna... Okay, the cruiser's now dead in the void. Let's redirect to the fire on the guys that aren't dead in the void. Also get our noses pointed in the right direction for the incoming next wave. I missed one of the product weapons. Whoops. Okay, they're about to cross the 1,000-kilometer range, and we'll start opening fire on them. The winds are actually... The one wind in there is coming to the particle, so I'm thinking that's going to be the first target. We can make that happen. Heralds also have light particle cannon. Light particle cannon's got pretty short range. Should be able to destroy... Okay, so this is a situation we're just going to blow up from bottom to top. Because these guys are rolling with really small particle weapons, so if we can just get the ship crippled, or they get too close, they'll be harmless. Wouldn't be surprised if the next wave was coming in soon. Okay, that's the orange laser. The problem is the particles are like yellow and the orange lasers are orange, so they look very similar. Trying to make sure that was not a particle opening fire at really long range. It was, in fact, not. Okay, that one's dead in the void. Next one. Let's switch around to the flankers. Flankers are really small, so they're probably going to just delete pretty quickly. Okay, back to the line. Okay, I'm feeling more and more like this is going to be a battle that we are actually going to win. It's good to see. we can pretty much ignore you. Light particles. Okay, so we want to kill those little ones because the light particle weapons on them. Or at least the wave. Yeah, I want to get rid of wave. Could probably just ignore the really tiny ones. On the other hand, the really tiny ones just explode real easy, so probably go wave and then whatever is smallest. Yeah, next wave of aliens inbound. I think this will be the second to last wave. Yeah, we'll get one more wave with the last 4 ships eventually. The biggest thing they have left is probably that cruiser. Yeah, the biggest thing left is that cruiser. And the morning wave is probably dead in the water, or dead in the void, and I should swap to a different target. So many little ones coming in. Okay. And they're not lightly armored, they're 40-something armor frontal. They're just little, so when we penetrate the armor, they start taking damage real fast. So not, or without necessarily taking damage real fast, but they don't have very many hit points. Probably a better way to describe the problems with the small ones for the enemy. Okay, I guess we're going to redirect to those flankers. Real tiny one. D6 frontal armor. Yeah, that's a lot of frontal armor. Shame, but they got to not point the front at us. Okay, back to turning against the line. There's the last of the alien ships inbound. I think we will pull out of this battle successful. Okay, try to get rid of the one operational flanker. The current line we're engaged with is already dead in the void. We got another line in. It's pretty small in ship size, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's fairly harmless. And then we're on to the remaining 3 ships, so I think we will be able to clean up what's left. Securing our arrival at Jupiter. Well, we'll see if the aliens have extra friends. The aliens might have extra friends. We know that the platform ship inbound was targeted by a maneuver, so there may be aliens coming in from farther out that may arrive. We'll see. Again, these are little ships. They got so much frontal armor. Aliens are splurging with the armor for the moment, apparently. We're damaging it with the lasers. We're just not doing a lot at the moment at this range. Although we're firing at basically maximum range. You're pretty slow. We can probably actually kill that one if we shoot at it. Yeah, there we go. Not all the small ships are apparently the same when it comes to the armor. 46, 46. Okay, that was just a particularly light one. Might have been one of their old ones. Going off why I bring plasma, which is when they have frontal armor like that, yeah, they're hard to damage until they get really close, unless you have plasma and start chucking your armor off the front. Second to last gunship. There goes the flower. Direct fire at the closest flower of the last wave. It's going to probably just speed the game speed up, and our ship should be able to handle the 3 remaining ones. There we go. Victory. Three hours and 7 minutes later after the start of the fight. That was a battle that scored us 685 nobles from the wreckage, 1.6k volatiles, 1.7k metal, 65 exotics. So from an exotic standpoint, that paid for the lost ships. And yeah, destroyed, 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 destroyed. There were some survivors from the enemy. Dry hull resurvey to do damage mitigation. Got the damage mitigation, okay. They were willing to stand and fight. Take a slightly more aggressive advance here. All ships. Focus on the big one. Yeah, all those light particle weapons are probably the best weapon the enemy fleet here has for dealing with us. So if we can bring it offline first, that will be good. Slightly annoying that that ship does not have its rental weapon. Yeah, that might be reasons the fight was pretty slow at the end. We only had 3 of the primary weapons on board. Particles are not the fastest. Or plasma's not the fastest at killing things. We're kind of relying on the UV phasers to actually deliver the aggressive attack. Hey, can I get you not off to yeah, I'd like you to focus who I'm having your assigned order to, but I don't need you to super min-max. Fire nothing but them. Your main target's not in range, and there's a different target in range, shoot the other target. That works for me. Okay, the ship we're firing at is dead in the void. We have one enemy ship trying to maneuver, because it apparently got assigned flanking role. Let's inform it that showing the side armor against UV phasers is a bad idea. Okay, let's focus the biggest ship that is not dead in the void. You're dead in the void, swap to a different target. Here we go. So, for the cost of 2 ships over 2 battles, we were able to eliminate 91 alien ships. Here we go. Oh, 3.6 exotics acquired. Anyway, they hang out there until the platform ship arrives. .8 days. Counterintelligence operations and humanity first Spartans. Oh yes, that sounds like a great plan.
We're in control here.
Back in control of Singapore. They have arrived to join Foxtrot 800. Foxtrot 800, now that you have your platform maker, found the platform. Platform wants a space dock and a PDA. Got the superconducting coil battery. Not that I think I need it, but we'll research it. Again, other than researching like the best drive and carrying the ball home, I think we're pretty much at the end of the tech tree at this point, so I'm not expecting anything spectacular to be in the tech tree to find at this point.
What's the op?
What's our purge odds in Pakistan? 2%. I'd like a little bit better than that before we do a raw purge. Are we off cooldown in EU? You know, that would be like April and March, right? So that's still a way off. We have executive control in Kyrgyzstan, yes.
On my way to the capital.
Stabilizing. You're stabilizing. I think this is where we'll put the part break in. So, if you're watching on YouTube, if everything goes well, we're now in Jupiter system. Jupiter system has nobles. Oh, so many nobles. If we can have more nobles coming in, we can have more ships rolling off the production line. And at this point, if we can keep fighting the aliens everywhere, more and more and more places, that will be good. Okay, we got some aliens in orbit, but I think these are mostly just damaged ships from previous fights. It might be worth cleaning those up at some point, once we have the assault carriers dealt with, but that'll be in the future.
Your orders?
Yeah, this is where we're going to put the part break in. If you're watching on YouTube, there will be another part up tomorrow, because we're going to record 2 more parts tonight. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. This is going to be a longer break than normal, because it is the midstream tea break where I go get a cup of tea. Replacement cup of tea. So I got to brew a cup of tea, get the kettle boiled, get the tea leaves stewing, and come back with the tea. So we'll be back with the next cup of tea in the next part. So until the next part, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and or stream, and bye for now.